Thanks to everyone who's joined us today. Hope you're all well and safe. I'm happy to see that we have so many of our ideaForge friends, partners, customers, and colleagues joining in. Welcome to the launch. Okay, so before we move ahead with the launch, I'd like to take a moment to explain the housekeeping, just in case you're new to the tool. So as promised, we will be making this interaction as interactive as possible. So you can ask questions and we will take as many questions as we can within the time. So the chat box, as you can see here, you can just post the chat here and then we'll take the questions at the end of the session. We will also be sharing some exciting links, which you can see in the offer section just above the chat. And when I actually post a link, you'll get a notification, so you don't have to worry about that. The recording of this webinar will be sent to you in a few days. And also, the other thing that I've not mentioned here is videos will take a few seconds to load. So request you to be a little patient when we are loading videos. Okay, speakers. So let me start by introducing myself. I'm Kruti. I head marketing at ideaForge. And with me today, I have the co-founders of ideaForge. Ankit is the CEO and co-founder of ideaForge. Ankit is the co-chair of the FICCI Committee on Drones and also the member of Drone Committees of the Government of India. Rahul Singh is the co-founder and Vice President Engineering. Rahul and team's discovery of the quad-rotor configuration laid the foundation of ideaForge and has about 8 patents to his name.
Hi, hello everyone. Look forward to the session today and presenting our product to all of you.
Hi everyone, very good afternoon to all of you and a warm welcome in this exciting launch for us, which we are doing for the first time. Pleasure to have everyone aboard.
Thank you, Ankit. Thank you, Rahul. So here is the agenda. It'll be a quick session of maybe 40 to 45 minutes with quick Q&A towards the end of the session. Okay. For centuries and centuries, maps have played a vital role in human life. From the map murals in the Vatican, to the manual surveying, to satellites, to drones, maps have been indispensable for our communities. Now, with one of the biggest government-backed drone mapping projects in the world, Swamitva, which Honorable PM Shri Narendra Modi ji launched a few months back, Survey of India is changing the game. It is focusing on high-resolution, high-accuracy mapping and using only drones to map about 660,000 Indian villages. From the starting of this year and even during the lockdown, we dedicated a big team of our R&D engineers to develop class-leading products, mapping products, to help Survey of India meet this audacious goal. ideaForge stands for first-in-class, best-in-class, reliable drones, and unparalleled customer service support. We are known for our peerless technology and superior surveillance drones. We are bringing the same philosophy to shake the mapping world and are launching our latest product today. Let us now officially launch the product, which is stated to create impact in the lives of millions of farmers, even the mapping worldwide. We'll launch the product with a video. Request you to just wait till the video loads. So RYNO, the mapping maestro, is here. If you are a mapping surveying customer looking for a micro drone for your mapping operations, especially the ones that you will not need a UAOP for, RYNO is your go-to product. Built with NPNT readiness, ideaForge's micro UAVs are already qualified by the Survey of India. And
Welcome once again, everyone, for this very exciting launch for us. And when I reflect back, I am wondering, and I look at the timeline way back in 2004 when we had created our first quadrotor drone as an exciting, innovative, and fun project while we were still college students, to the next few years where we set out to prove that such a technology can be created by people right here from scratch. But in 2008, when the Mumbai attacks happened on 26/11, it ignited a passion in us that we want to use this technology to create a difference in our security operations. Over the next few years, ideaForge pioneered and delivered several of its class-leading performance products to various forces in the country. Almost all of the forces have adopted our indigenous solution, as well as they have been successfully using it in over 140,000 missions for their operations. Several missions have been wildly successful in creating impact for our forces. When we were looking at the next frontier for us, we realized that there was a burgeoning demand for survey-grade mapping drones. And when we investigated that further, we realized and we came across a very exciting study done by a very, very famous economist, Peruvian economist, Mr. Del Poro, who mentioned that development of several modern economies is going to be dependent in a big way on how well digitized their land records are. And when we saw the impact of this technology, we knew that this was the path we had to choose next to create impact. It is one of our core values at ideaForge. And as a result of our dedicated effort over the last 6 to 9 months, we are proud to present our mapping maestro, RYNO. I would now like Rahul to come in, my dear colleague and co-founder, to share with you what makes RYNO special.
Hi, welcome back. So thank you, Ankit. Thank you for the narration so far. What I would like to do is start by talking about the design philosophy behind the product RYNO. As Ankit mentioned, that this was a realization that there was a latent demand, a latent requirement for a high accuracy survey grade mapping drone, which could be made small enough, accessible enough, portable enough so that our target user is able to achieve its mission flawlessly, scalably, reliably, repeatably. With that mission in mind, we had to sort of dabble with the challenge of making something which was regulatory, which was compliant to the regulatory needs, was achieving consistent high accuracy performance as the user required, and while doing so was giving scaled performance so that the user was able to do more and more of the mission required, because what the Survey of India in our country is targeting is nothing short of sort of phenomenal in terms of a goal. So we sort of worked around this problem and came up with a product. And I would also like to show you the physical incarnation of a product RYNO, probably one of the only RYNOs in the world that I can lift so easily. But jokes apart, this is a sturdily built product. And I would like to sort of walk you through some of the specifications of the product. I'll bring back the equipment wherever I need to give you references of what what this product represents. So the product in terms of broad specification is an under 2 kg product. An under 2 kg product, as per Indian regulations, is classified as a micro UAV. The advantages of a micro UAV in the Indian operational environment is as long as the user is operating it under 60 meters, there is no UAP requirement. Because of that, more and more operators can scalably do this without necessarily going through the additional step of obtaining a UAOP. At under 2 kgs, the product still does not make the user compromise on any of the performance parameters. The product can fly for more than 40 minutes at one go. While flying for 40 minutes, if it is flying at 60 meters AGL, at 80-60 frontal and side overlap, the product can easily cover an area of 0.6 square kilometers or more. For users who have UAOP or do not have the restrictions of the Indian regulatory environment, or for international users, while flying at 120 meters, the product can easily cover more than 1 square kilometers at one go. And while achieving all of this, all the time assuring the accuracy of less than 10 centimeters in the horizontal axis and less than 20 centimeters in the vertical axis with 95% confidence interval. What that 95% confidence interval means that if you have large data sets, no more than 5% of your data statistically will be outside these assured error percentages. What that means for our user is being able to do scaled operation without doubting the quality of the data achieved. And all of this in this class is achieved by also integrating one of the highest performance sensor formats for this class. So the product comes standard with an APS-C sized more than 20 megapixel sensor integrated into the product. What that means is the product can achieve crisp, high quality images in varied lighting conditions. What that means for the user is the user can continue capturing data for longer hours and for more variety of conditions. What that means is essentially the user ends up making more efficient use of every day's deployment. And that means money, that means great output for the user. Going ahead, I'd also like to highlight a bunch of great features of the product. The ideaForge family of survey-grade mapping drones are not just survey-grade mapping drones in the micro category as well as small category are qualified by Survey of India to meet the stringent accuracy and repeatability requirements. What that means that any customer, be it private or public sector player, can take this tool and produce data which is consistent and compliant with the requirement of any stringent agency requirements. What the product also offers is best-in-class area coverage. Because of the phenomenal endurance for this size class, the product is able to cover the maximum possible area that this size of a UAV with this configuration is able to cover. The area coverage can be flexibly increased for advanced users who want to play with overlap percentage and other parameters to maximize the area coverage. The accuracy that we assure, which is less than 10 centimeters horizontal and less than 20 centimeters vertical with 95% confidence interval, is a high confidence metric. But for a user who's looking for an average accuracy or a typical accuracy, the same accuracies can be as good as less than 5 centimeters in horizontal and less than 10 centimeters in the vertical axis. The product comes inbuilt with features like terrain avoidance and terrain hugging. What that enables the product to do is achieve consistent quality of data while flying over uneven terrain. And by maintaining constant offset between the ground and the flying altitude, the quality and the resolution of the objects on ground remain consistent, hence achieving a consistent accuracy and quality across larger areas with uneven terrain. On top of that, the terrain avoidance feature or the terrain failsafe prevents the UAV from colliding onto terrain features, even if the mission area is an abrupt, uneven terrain, like cliffs and sharp mountains. So what that does is achieves high level of data accuracy, consistency, while maintaining the safety of the aircraft. And a lot of users who have done many missions using a lot of commercial grade drones or fixed wing drones would realize the importance of maintaining data consistency versus maintaining the safety of the equipment. Going ahead, what we also kept in mind while designing the product was to maintain very, very high level of portability. The product delivers a certain kind of specification in a much smaller size class than its competitors. What that means is the product can be transported on field using any kind of transportation mode. For example, for areas which are inaccessible by motorized transport, the equipment is backpackable to be carried by 1 or 2 people on the field. If someone has a two-wheeler, the equipment could be transported on a two-wheeler, four-wheeler, or public transport, depending on the options with the user. The deployment time is another area where we thought a lot of optimization is required, and the typical deployment time of the product that we have is less than 10 minutes. So in less than 10 minutes, you can go from a fully packed condition to ready to fly. And the flight itself is as good as just standing back and watching the mission complete. It hardly requires any intervention from the operator, making it very, very easy to operate and flawless and scalable in terms of prolonged usage by the user. Once the product lands, after landing, the wrap-up time is probably about 10 minutes, including data transfer, simple data transfer techniques. What that allows the user to do is finish a square kilometer average area in less than 1 hour of turnaround time, and may be able to maximize the number of missions and hence area coverage that the user is able to do every day by moving to multiple sites or doing multiple missions at the same site. What we also kept in mind while making this product was to retain the robust build quality that we have achieved with our military grade products. The materials used in the product are, there's an extensive amount of carbon fiber composite used on the product. In addition to the carbon fiber composite, there's a lot of magnesium and aircraft grade aluminum used to construct the product. All these materials are of the highest grade globally in terms of any product. And what that means compared to a lot of plastic constructed commercial products, that the product that RYNO can last much, much longer while assuring reliable and repeatable quality of output. We assure technical life of the product as long as more than 2,000 mapping missions if the right engineering support package is followed and subscribed to. We also extend technical life support for many years, up to 5 years, depending on the engineering support package chosen, which means that the investment into the product is future secured by an assured lifetime technical support of up to 5 years or so, which no other commercial grade product typically offers. While assuring high cycle life and high reliability, robust construction, we also provide very extensive and easily accessible customer support and warranty support for the product. We have a pan-India operational support available, so most likely if some kind of support is required for the product, our nearest support center might not be too far away. The warranty package that comes with the product is typically 1 year, and beyond that, users can choose different kind of AMC and support packages to suit their needs. The product also takes into account the need of the user to travel between various mission areas by air transportation. So the main aircraft itself is made to be easily checked in. And as we all are aware that batteries are not allowed to be checked in by the airline authorities. So the batteries have been constructed in such a way that they are compliant and can be carried without any issue in cabin with you, thus allowing hassle-free transportation by air. Further to that, the importance of a VTOL quadrotor configuration is something that we would want to highlight, and its advantages compared to a fixed wing or a hybrid configuration. The VTOL configuration offers tremendous amount of flexibility in terms of flexibility of area of operation. The size of area of deployment required is minimal, and hence the deployability of the mission increases significantly. In addition to the launch and recovery flexibility, the other things that the user can benefit from this is the flexibility in flight. So what a quadrotor configuration allows to do is do a much better terrain hugging operation in very, very uneven terrain conditions while still ensuring safety of the equipment. That is something a fixed wing drone or a hybrid drone completely fails to do because of the flying configuration itself. And in addition to this, the takeoff and landing wind tolerance capability of a VTOL drone is also superior in most cases compared to a hybrid drone, again, further enhancing the flexibility of deployment for the user. Based on all these features and functionalities that we've built in, we have ensured that the training requirement for the product remains minimal. In case the user wants to fly under 60 meters, there's no UAP requirement, and the training provided by us is short and simple for any user to come up to the level of conducting survey grid missions. For people, for users wanting to go beyond 60 meters, an additional UAP through DGCA certified training enables them to do that. Internationally, depending on the regulations in various geographies, the training complexity remains the same. In case there's no regulatory requirement for additional training, the user typically would be ready to start doing survey grade mapping in less than a week after doing a certain number of test practice sessions. The mission itself is based on waypoint navigation, thus eliminating too much skill requirement, and the majority of the flight is from start to finish, it's a hands-free operation, which makes the experience very, very easy and scalable for the user. Or RYNO, as a design itself, is NPNT ready and will have no hassles getting regulatory clearances for our users who choose to go for RYNO. With this, I would like to call back my colleague Ankit Mehta to talk about various applications that RYNO can address suitably and would be a great asset to have. Ankit, please take it over.
Thank you, Rahul, for enlightening us about the various important and critical features of this product. We have a very common saying in ideaForge that we design our drones like birds, make them very lightweight, but we test them like tanks. With RYNO, you get an extremely reliable system for all your enterprise grade requirements and opportunities. Now, in terms of where all the product can be utilized, apart from the obvious use case, which we have mentioned of land surveying and mapping with very high accuracies, this product can be utilized for a lot of your 3D mapping requirements, wherein there is interest in doing volumetric estimations, in measuring height, or measuring dimensions of various structures on ground. It is a useful tool for that. It is an extremely useful tool for planning a lot of infrastructure projects such as mine site planning, land development planning, highway network expansion planning, railway network expansion planning, or even for large project planning. This is a tool which can be used in all stages of planning, be it in the early stages of preparation of the project cost and project reports, or during the phase of execution where you want to do site planning meticulously to ensure that there is optimized use of all the available area, as well as it can be used for post analysis of doing an as-built structure of the entire facility or area that has been created. It is also going to be pertinent to note that a survey grade drone enables you to get into a lot of evidence-based scenarios with respect to project progress reports, with respect to certain payment milestones if required for certain large projects. And this evidence increases the efficiency and confidence level in the execution that is happening on ground. So various financial institutions, various large corporates can make great use of the product for various evidence-based outcomes that they desire from their projects. In case of looking at some of the applications for municipal corporations and other state and government bodies, there is a huge opportunity in utilizing these drones to measure and quantify and create evidence for the various taxes and charges that they collect for various land uses and other inspection areas for their operations and streamline public services in that sense. Also, an important use case is disaster preparedness. With some areas in India receiving perennial flood-like, not perennial, but annual flood-like situations, it is pertinent to map the earth at a significantly higher quality and accuracy to ensure that we can do disaster preparedness based on the forecast. We can understand with flood inundation analysis done on these kind of maps of how to prepare our entire operations for disaster management. So broadly, it is a tool which is capable of delivering over regular mapping tools a very, very high accuracy, high reliability operation, which with its class leading performance directly results in higher return on investment in this product. With this, I will again like to ask Rahul to take us through how will such missions get executed and what kind of outcomes can be expected. Over to you, Rahul, once again.
Hi, thank you, Ankit. So when we talk about the product being built for user's mission, we also need to talk about what the mission is. And broadly, the outcome of the drone flight itself is not a great video or sort of entertainment. It is the data coming out of the drone and the high accuracy data that we assure is produced by essentially understanding what the mission requirements are. So broadly, I would like to capture the mission requirements as one, data processing, and the other, data capture. Data processing itself is something which requires various kind of photogrammetry tools, which the user might have a pre-established preference for. So we provide compatibility with almost all popular third-party photogrammetry softwares in terms of data formats. And these data formats can be imported and directly processed in these applications to produce various outputs, which I mentioned here. And each output has relevance for different kind of an application. But more important than the data processing itself, where we are not claiming any specific value addition, the data capture itself is where RYNO adds a lot of value addition. In the data capture process, as I've spoken about the deployment phase, for a typical user to deploy the UAV once he gets to a site, so essentially imagine the whole workflow from office to office or home to home. The user picks up the equipment, chooses an on-foot or a two-wheeler or a four-wheeler or a public transport kind of mode to get to the mission site, deploys the equipment within 10 minutes of getting there, covers a mission in about 40 minutes without requiring to do much during the flight. All the data gets saved on board. When the equipment lands, you transfer the data with very, very easy to use workflow associated with the equipment, and you wrap up and go. And all of this mission combined with a lot of reliability, safety, and accuracy built in simplifies the data collection itself. Now, this data, depending on the user's choice, can be either sent to a cloud-centric photogrammetry processing setup if there is a great uploading data network backhaul option available to the user, or the user can choose to collect all the data and at the end of the day sort of be able to transfer it to Office, where in network constrained environments and then be able to process it. So the equipment can be configured and set up to suit various workflows and choices that the customer can make, and be able to give output which is compatible with most standard photogrammetry tools out there. With this, we expect RYNO to integrate into the workflows of any of our customers without too much effort, and be able to produce very high quality, high accuracy outputs in any of these mentioned formats for the user. So with this, I'm sure we would have covered majority of the aspects of the product. If we have missed out something, we would try to cover it in the question and answer session. And for that, I would like to call back Kruti and take it and request her to take it over from here. Hi, Kruti.
Hi, Rahul. Thank you, Rahul. Thank you, Ankit. One question that probably, Ankit, you could answer is, could you give us some insights into the warranty of the product, the flight, a little more into the customer support, and yeah.
So, Kruti, I'll probably not spend too much time on it. Rahul has mentioned a little bit in detail about that, but just to reiterate, we support a year's warranty on the standard product, and there are various extended support packages available to support the guaranteed cycle life on the system that we have suggested. And of course, the system is built robustly and reliably, and we continue to provide technical support to our users for a very long period of time. Kruti, you're on mute.
Thank you, Ankit. So we'll now watch RYNO in action. Just take a few minutes to load the video. Okay, so that was RYNO in action. Now I'm pretty sure that everyone is waiting to see how they can get their hands on the RYNO, for which I'm just going to publish an offer, which is basically a link on your chat, just above your chat. You can see that you can join the waitlist on the link, and once you're waitlisted, you can get a demo and then place your orders. So we will now open the floor for Q&A. I request Ankit and Rahul to just join us back. Okay, so there are a lot of questions. I'm just like struggling to follow up on which question to go for first. So let's just take it this way. What is the maximum temperature it can operate in? And is 40 minutes the max flight time?
Yeah, thank you. So the temperature ranges that we support in this product, and it's a great question. I think I would have liked to cover this information earlier, but I somehow missed out covering this information. So in the process of making the product robust, what we've also ensured is we have designed the equipment to work in the widest range of temperatures that our geography sort of offers. And so the product is rated to operate from I think minus 10 degrees centigrades to plus 50 degrees centigrades. So that covers majority of the climatic conditions that most surveyors will experience in most parts of the country. In addition to that, we also have tested the equipment for dust and drizzle resistance. What that does is that in real life conditions, you don't have control over when it starts to rain or when there is a dust storm or things like that. The equipment should not deteriorate a lot because of such climatic conditions. So the product is designed to continue operating in all of these environments. The second question was about the endurance part. Yeah, so the 40 minutes point flight time is an assured flight time at MSL and moderate altitude conditions. Depending on environmental conditions, this number can be slightly higher as well. But we try to always rate a conservative number for our product so that what is experienced is not very inferior to what is claimed. So yes, occasionally you can get maybe some endurance much higher than 40 minutes, but 40 minutes is typically what we want to set the customer expectation for.
Kruti, you're on mute.
Sorry again. Thank you, Ankit. So I heard that RYNO is adopted by SOI, that is Survey of India. Could you please elaborate? Ankit, do you want to take this?
Yeah, so our micro category products have been doing trials for various opportunities from Survey of India, and we have qualified the expectations in all of those occasions. So it is definitely a system that is built on the same approach and same philosophy, the same quality system.
Okay. So the next question is to Rahul again. There are a lot of questions. Do you have collision avoidance?
So the product does. So what we do is the product has detect and avoid, and it has terrain avoidance. So in most mapping missions, what you require is essentially want to maintain a constant distance from the terrain that you want to map, ensuring safety about that terrain. And you also want to ensure regulatory safety by doing a detect and avoid. The equipment comes built in with the ability to detect civil air traffic in case there is anything which is approaching and is in a critical distance from the UAV. The UAV initiates land and avoids any critical situation. So that is what RYNO comes built in with.
Okay. So there were a few more questions about collision avoidance and terrain avoidance. Since you've addressed that, we'll move to the next question, which is for Ankit. Ankit, there are a lot of people asking about the price range, the pricing. So would you want to address that?
Yeah, I think in the spirit of a regular enterprise product, prices and availability of the product will be available with all our partners and with us as well. So I would definitely request everyone who's interested to put yourself in waitlist, connect with us, and we will guide you through the entire process of price discovery and product discovery in detail on that side.
Okay, thank you, Ankit. So this is again for Rahul. What wind speed can it handle?
So most of our products can easily operate in winds. We typically rate it around 10 meters per second or so, but practically we can handle wind speeds higher than that as well. So a conservative wind speed tolerance that we rate is about 10 meters per second, which is about 35-40 kmph of wind for operation. Much higher wind speeds also deteriorate your quality of mapping mission, because if the wind is very strong towards a certain direction, the consistency of the data can get compromised for very, very high wind conditions. But the safety aspect of the equipment is still preserved, even if the mission is not the highest priority. So safety comes over anything else. So yes, 10 meters per second or higher is typically what we support.
Yeah. So the next question is, how long flying will it take to cover a 1 kilometer by 1 kilometer area, that's 1 square kilometer, when it scans?
Uh, yeah, go ahead, Rahul. I think you can address.
Yeah.
So you meant when it scans? That was the last word?
Yeah, when it scans.
Sure. So for a square kilometer, if you're flying at about 120 meters altitude and choosing a front and side overlap of 80, 60, a typical flight covering a square kilometer finishes in about 30 to 35 minutes or so. The rest of the time is a buffer time available to provide assurance for covering that area properly. But typically a 30 plus minutes is what is required to cover a square kilometers at 120 meters with 80-60 overlap.
Okay. So this is to you again, Rahul.
Okay.
What autopilot system are you using?
So we are proud to talk about this, that we are one of the few companies in the country and probably globally who have worked with our own in-house developed autopilot for years. And the autopilot that the product uses is backed by more than 10 years of experience behind optimizing and creating reliability through that autopilot. So it is an ideaForge proprietary autopilot backed by 10 plus years of experience.
Okay. This is to probably Ankit, and even you can add in, Rahul. Very interesting question. Where does this fit into the range of current offerings? Will this cannibalize any of existing models?
So I just wanted to clarify that RYNO is a purpose-built model for survey-grade mapping. It does not come with any other configuration. It does not come in any other configuration. The PPK is a standard on the product. The mapping payload is also a fixed payload onto the product, and therefore the product is going to be a very, very dedicated offering for this use case and for all the use cases that survey grade mapping can enable. However, we have in our all of our other products actually are all modular, all have the ability to mount interchangeable payloads for various use cases. Usually people switch between day camera and thermal camera for surveillance missions, and for customers who are looking at mapping as well, you can load mapping payloads as well on all of our other products. However, with RYNO, you are actually getting a purpose-built machine for very high efficiency operations for survey grade mapping.
Okay, thank you. So the next question is, okay, sorry, a lot of them. Okay, so how does this compare to other mapping drones in its class? Rahul, you want to take this?
So this is a very unique class of drones. Very few drones are available out there which are in this weight category, being able to do this kind of endurance and area coverage while carrying the grade of sensor that it carries. So most equipment carrying this kind of sensor typically are much heavier and much larger than this UAV. And anything which in this particular class is typically either a much lower endurance, much lower area coverage. So it's a unique class in itself. You be in a smaller class and achieve all the performance advantages of a larger class. So I can probably claim that for now it is a word that we use. It's peerless in its class. So, so that's the comparison today.
Okay. So Rahul, again, which GCS does RYNO work on?
So with every product that you buy, the GCS comes bundled with it. So the GCS is again proprietary ideaForge GCS, which has been custom built and optimized for both reliability, performance, and ease of use. So that's the GCS which comes built in with every product.
Okay. The next question is it with a single 100 watt hour battery or multiple?
I wanted to answer this question.
I'm addressing it to you, Rahul. Yeah.
This is as simple as this. This is 100 watt hour. Each one of these parts is less than 100 watt hours, so you always maintain compliance. And when you do fly, it is as easy as doing a plug and play, and this is ready to be plugged into the equipment, and you're ready to go. So it's as easy as that.
Yeah, making some noise.
So I hope that answers the question.
Yes, yes. So what does the payload communication link say for transmitting the imagery? Again, Rahul.
So the communication link that we use is using the same license-free ISM band of 2.4 and 5 gigahertz, which is permitted for such operations. The communication link is primarily used to monitor telemetry, do mission control, and monitor the state of the equipment live on the GCS. The imagery is stored on board because it's very high resolution, high amount of imagery which we don't want to lose while attempting to transfer mid-flight. And after the flight, the imagery can easily be accessed using a swappable SD card, which is the fastest mode to swap out data from a device rather than depending on any other link. So that's how we go about data transfer and the frequency used.
Okay. So a lot of people are asking if they can change the default camera with other payloads like thermal camera, or they're asking is the PPK inbuilt, and a lot of questions around the PPK module itself, whether it's compatible, replay swappable, etc.
So as Ankit mentioned, this is a purpose-built product. This is a purpose-built product to do one thing very, very well. It does a survey grade mapping of a certain area as good as anything else. Because of that, it loses the modularity that other products offer. Other products from ideaForge offer in terms of payload modularity. So no, today RYNO cannot be compatible with other payloads like thermal or surveillance grade payloads. RYNO is meant to do survey grade mapping only. The payload cannot also be a tiltable payload for oblique 3D vertical mapping imagery. Today, RYNO is optimized for large area, linear asset, big asset coverage rather than vertical structure mapping today. In terms of the PPK module available, the GPS on board for data capture is a PPK. Today, we don't support RTK, but that is something which we could consider to support subsequently once we have that feature enabled and tested. So the product is also future-proof and future-ready in case we have any development which is compatible with the product in the future. All those software updates and upgrades would be offered to existing customers as well. The GPS which comes built in with the equipment is compatible to use GPS, GLONASS, Galileo, and the whole range of constellations, providing more robust and a variety of satellite visibility in any mission area. So I hope that answers the question of what grade of GPS is used.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is to Ankit. A lot of questions, although we covered this. Is NPNT inbuilt? Is it DGCA compliant? Ankit, you want to take this?
Sure. So the RYNO drone is built with the same approach and philosophies as our NPNT registered drones. It is in pipeline for registration already. Therefore, as and when the registration process is concluded at the end of the regulator, we should have it registered as well. And all of the other processes will be enabled subsequently. So it is already in the pipeline, and it is built with the compatibility in mind. Therefore, it is ready for the regime under NPNT.
Right. So another famous question is about, is the product completely indigenous, and is it made in India in times of Atmanirbhar? Do you want to address this, Ankit?
Sure. All our products, Kruti, and for the audience, all our products are actually completely designed in India. Almost a significant majority of the value addition that happens on our products is out of India. It is our own design. The software is our own. The autopilot, all the critical systems are our own design. And therefore, when you look at our products, you are getting a product which is to one of the highest degrees possible in this domain, indigenously constructed, designed, and purpose built.
Thank you, Ankit. So, what are the possible fail safes? Rahul, you want to address this?
Sure. Again, in trying to make any new product, we try to inherit all the safety features that we have developed over time in all of our military grade products as well. So the product comes standard built in with battery fail-safe, communication fail-safe, high wind fail-safe, GPS error-based fail-safe, battery health-related fail-safe, or any other sensor related fail-safe. So the most commonly used fail-safes which the user might encounter would be the communication fail-safe and the battery fail-safe. A communication fail-safe is something that you can't really plan around because of the crowded wireless environments that we operate in. And today, sort of creating a jamming environment is not the toughest scenario. So even if the communication gets lost because of any unforeseen scenario, the aircraft will always come back to the takeoff location and land by itself, even if there's no control. The battery failsafe is also very, very important because while you're flying, you don't really need to actively think about how much battery is left and when should I start landing. The fat battery failsafe we have built into the equipment is an intelligent battery failsafe, which takes into account the flying parameters along with the battery health itself to decide to start to land and come back and finish landing completely in time with having enough safety buffer for the equipment, never to run out of battery in flight. In addition to that, some of the other safety features that we have is in the product, you will rarely see any wire that the user can experience. So most of our products are, from a user experience perspective, no wires anywhere. Most other products that you will see of products made by a lot of other companies, the wire which is required to assemble a product and operate a product is a source of failure for a lot of these products. So we have taken the pain and the penalty of making the product as finished as possible for the user while still remaining under 2 kg and ensuring the performance that the user requires.
So, Rahul, we'll take one last question because we are already 5 minutes we've overshot time. So we'll take one question which a lot of people have asked is about the sensor, although we addressed it. A lot of questions about the sensor. They're asking if it's Sony. Yes.
So yes, the product will be delivered to you, and it will come with a case which is Sony. So yes, it is a Sony sensor. Comes with a Sony lens as well. The camera specification, as I mentioned earlier, the sensor is an APS-C size sensor. Now, this sensor size is a significantly larger sensor than most other commercial drones use on the market. The resolutions that this sensor can support is up to 24 megapixel, but in a lot of cases, we configure it for a 20 megapixel operating resolution. So that's the broad specification about the camera itself. Apart from the camera, on the top you have the PPK antenna position in the middle of the equipment, assuring high-grade GPS reception and hence high-grade GPS accuracy as well. I think some people mentioned that they would like to see a more hands-on with the product live on the camera. So anything specific you would want to talk about? Some people have talked about why the propellers and the motors are down facing and not above. There are various advantages and disadvantages of the configuration. Now I'll not go into the specifics of design choices here, but you'll see this as a signature element in a lot of our products. It comes at the cost of a lot of constraints, but if used well, it can have some advantages. So I'll just limit it to that. So yeah, you have RYNO, our latest and greatest product. As Kruti says, flies like a bird, tested like a tank. So what it is.
Right. So I think as much as we want to take more questions, we'll try and answer all these questions over an email. You can always write to us. You can go and waitlist yourselves to get your hands on RYNO on the website. It's all live now. No more suspense, right? So that brings us to the end of Q&A. RYNO is here for all your mapping needs, and this is only the beginning. We aim to exponentially increase the features through constant feedback and to consistently keep it best in class for years to come. So that's what I say. This is just the beginning, and let us fly together. And I'd like to conclude with that. Please do write to us on these email IDs that I have mentioned. Feel free to contact us, drop us a message, let us know anything that you would like to know. We'll try our best to get back in touch, and have a good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It was our pleasure to present our product to all of you.
Thank you, everyone. Wish everyone a very good evening and happy flying.
Thank you.